Test 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm talking here. Can I hear anything? Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Any audio coming out this time? YouTube sent me a notification that my audio was at 0 bits. So I had to go and restart this again. I've got it unlisted. So maybe I'll go check that. It says the stream's healthy. So we'll test it. Hello, my audio file is working. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? My audio's working good. It's something within my StreamYards. Or Streamlabs, excuse me, not StreamYards. You guys can hear me? What the F was that? Ghost in my Streamlabs. Well, welcome back, friends. We'll get this thing started. It's like an old tractor. Oh, my dear Lord. Please stay healthy for a little bit. Well, it says it's healthy, so I'll assume everything's okay. Sweet Jesus. Sure is difficult to get this thing going. Should have warmed it up. Must be the cold. She's frozen up. It's frozen up. Good evening, Jennifer. Just a clapping seal hello. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. We're here talking about the recent developments in the Jack and Lily Sullivan case, and you're not going to want to miss it. Here, Chair Bear, you can have the rest of this. Yep, there's no notification going out, so people hopefully will get their notification on their home screen, and they can come join. One moment, please. Oh yeah, bonjour, Esther, Mima, hello everyone. Did I get that email in my inbox telling me about something that Kent did up while this story was developing? Are you in my chat? Are you listening to this? Somebody told me something. I'm not sure where I read that, but it was in a message to me. Kent was trying to garner more donations and just take away from the situation and monitor conversations. That'll probably be up on the Facebook. It's probably up on the Facebook. Oh, it'll be entertaining in that Facebook now. People will be all up in their feelings, all up in their emotions, won't they? You can hear me now. It makes me feel good. I don't have to wonder. Whatever goes on in this software, it was mixed up. Kent can go suck an egg. You're not a fan, Trail Hiker? Are you sure? You can get like 20 bracelets for $15 probably right now. They're on such a steal. Literally. What colors do you like? What's your spirit animal? Oh, shit. Yep. So, although there is a clause, by the way, no matter what the sentences are going to be, he's going to be on that list. Although there is a clause that they have to come to a decision in order to put you on that list, there hasn't been an incident like Daniel's to ever be denied going on that list. So I wouldn't expect that to change. One way or the other, Daniel's worst nightmares just occurred. Talk about a cock block. Talk about a boner killer. Hello, ladies. It's your friendly neighborhood SX offender. I'm Kent's friend. I'm here with Kent and Darren Geddes, my best friends. Kent should buy some nice prison outfits for everybody from Temu. Definitely. And for their cellmates. Oh, shit. Oh, hard roast tonight on a Friday. It's a PA day here for the kids, for the secondary schools. It's not a PA day. Well, I guess it is a PA day, I guess. Ken should buy some nice prison outfits for everybody from Temu. That's a great one, Helicopter Grandma. You're on fire. Oh, damn, Grendel. Good to see you. So you guys are talking about how you think, Darlene, I don't know, sometimes people get all up in there. You start associating things when you're around it, right? I'm not saying that that's what you're doing. You probably have good reason to think a certain way. I think about it all the time, just not out loud necessarily, because I know that I'm not always right when I start going that way. But in this situation, could very well be right, because you have a never-ending opportunity to come in as somebody else. You can change your name at any point with these YouTube sock accounts. So you can always be a different person. It just takes you a few seconds. Is that what it is that they're doing? They sure spend an awful lot of time in here, in other live chats. Hey, Firehorse. Complaining, whining, enabling. Hey, Carol, welcome back. They're trying to distract everybody now with these recent claims that Jordan has somehow been battered by his old man, old Darren. I'll just bet he has. I don't believe any of it. They're just looking for some attention. Good to see you, sweet tea. Darren, you've had plenty of attention, son. I even went, now's the best time to go back and listen to exactly what this asshole was saying. At the time, I ignored it. I heard enough. And when I heard him bullshit, that was it. I tried to dismiss it for as long as possible, but the more you listen to it, the more you realize there's a reason why this asshole is so associated with all of this. That'll come out in the long term, in the long run, in that sense. I should make an update, because there'll be some videos that go around where yesterday, as it was developing, was thinking maybe that this victim in Daniel's, the complainant, probably is MBM in that sense. It would make sense. I come to look at the dates after I calmed down last night, and it happens over a period of time. Like, it wasn't like there's several dates. It's unclear, but it lists several dates. And after I listened to Ninchi's last night, she had a good analysis on it, and it brought me out of my bubble when I could sit back and listen to what it was that she was saying. And she made a valid point that it probably was Maleya. Not that I want to spend overly too much time. It's not like it's a real dox, but it's just us talking about it, so I don't think there's any harm in it. The situation that she was in has been a topic of conversation on this channel for quite some time. But at this time, it's probably Maleya in that sense. You're talking about the timing, Yennefer? It seems sus to you? All these bad actors do things for reasons? I don't know what you're implying. No time like the present. Autumn Christian 7167 says that SOB Kent is just another weasel trying to make a name for himself. Well, Kent, you did, you shyster. Never did like this guy, nor did I pretend to. Well, everybody's pretending to. That's Derwood's buddy. Bosom buddies. Twins. Let me open that back up. We'll go read it and refresh our memories just quickly. Do you want to look at the CBC? Yeah, why not? Oh, it's bright. Old Daniel Martell, the stepfather of 2 Nova Scotia children who disappeared nearly 9 months ago. By the way, the CBC goes out of their way, I've noticed, especially on the second last update of right now, which is January 30th, 2026. The one with Rob McCammond. Make it look like she's on his side. Oh, we're buffering again? Oh my God. Well, we're going to have to live through it. Maleya's, it's not necessarily, Jennifer, you're just jumping to conclusions there. It's not about filing now. It's probably because the information has come to light and put through, which isn't exactly right now. Now it's just being announced. This has already happened. Go ask the RCMP. Wolfie, you sound like a broken record with that. What does that mean to you? At the end of the day, it's all about Jack and Lily. That's just minimizing and getting away from any particular topic. What does that actually mean to you? All of this has everything to do with finding out what happened. That's why we're here. Anita Benita, the DV in the Martell house was escalating absolutely. December CPS, February DM works one day. March Cindy, are you saying the U-Haul? Excuse me. April MBM stays with Patty. May, J and L are missing. Not good for DM. You got that down fairly concise. You got it codified. Holy mackerel. Wolfie, I love you and everything, but you walking around and using rhetoric is nonsense. You've got to stop. Find some words to describe it. It's a lot more than that. Stop pretending. Holy mackerel, you got me thinking now. It says the stream is healthy right now, so I'll trust it. If it's acting up, just give it some time. I'm gonna make a run. Gonna make a go of it this time. Whoops. Keep hitting the wrong buttons here, for crying out loud. So, Darlene, if you're out there listening, you have to tell me in my comments section afterwards why it is that you think Mr. Hemi is suspect at this point in time. I don't think it doesn't really bother me one way or the other. I expect it. I try to purposely not worry or think about who's who in that sense. Sometimes it just stands out to you, right? It stands out to you based upon their language and timing and things like that to you, the person. That's usually the best route. But I think that's pretty funny. People are watching you, Mr. Hemi. Oh, man. Oh, man. I don't even worry about it. I know they're watching. Calioji, I was just reading a message with you on it when Daniel was telling you to F off. That old Facebook post of his. Good to see you. So what does it say here? Did they update it? That's what I'm looking for. The children's... I'll just read it all for you. Daniel Martell is stepfather of 2 Nova Scotia children who disappeared nearly 9 months ago, has been charged with SA, assault and forcible confinement, CBC News has learned. Nova Scotia RCMP confirmed that Martell was arrested on Monday and is facing 3 charges involving an adult complainant. Martell is due in Pictou Provincial Court in March 2nd. This douchebag Martell was living with Lily and Jack Sullivan and their mother at the time of their disappearance from his family home in Landsdown, Nova Scotia last May. Lily, 6, and Jack, then 4, were reported missing on May 2nd, 2025 when their mummy called 911. Search and rescue teams spent days combing through the thick woods that surround this rural home in the sparsely populated community of Landsdown. But the extensive grid search turned up little evidence apart from a pink blanket and a child-sized boot print. Since then, authorities have brought in cadaver dogs, conducted 75 interviews and several polygraph examinations, reviewed 1,066 tips and 8,000 video files, and have assigned RCMP units from multiple provinces to investigate the case. I'm sure Daniel Martell is already keeping you all up to date on this, as he was saying. The children's disappearance have fueled widespread speculation and accusations online amid international media attention. But the RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McMahon said earlier this month that none of the children's family members were suspects in the disappearance. It's that statement right there that I was talking about. This is Ali Thompson's statement. That statement shows... like, that's so stupid. Number one, Rob McCann did not say that whatsoever. He didn't even want to touch... We're not even thinking about suspects at this point in time. That's a very suggestive statement by Ali in that sense. That's why she's this rapport that she's building with Daniel to get that inside scoop is showing in that sense. You know what you're doing here, Amy. Like, be you. But listen, Staff Sergeant Rob McMahon didn't say that. You're interpreting what Rob McMahon said, and you're leading people. You should have put that in afterwards. You sound like you contradicted yourself. Number one, Rob McMahon certainly didn't suggest that, but he's not going to tell you anyway. So why would you go ahead and say that he said that none of the family were suspects, when most obvious it's not as you're trying to interpret it for an audience. I was going to say something different there, but I'm not going to. I was disappointed. I was so disappointed in you, young lady. She's old, actually. Old as dirt.
Daniel Martell is facing charges of sexual assault, and forcible confinement. Martell is the stepfather of missing children Lily and Jack Sullivan. RCMP have confirmed they arrested 34-year-old Martell on Monday. Police say the victim is an adult, but are not providing any more details. Martell was living with Lily, Jack, and their mother when the children went missing from his family home in Landsdown, Nova Scotia last May. The woods surrounding the home was searched for days, and RCMP Major Crimes has been conducting an extensive investigation. But little is known about what happened to the children, and so far, the case has not turned criminal.
It's low.
Earlier this month, RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon said none of the children's family members are suspects.
Oh, see right there? He said none of the children's family are suspects in that sense. It's not what he said. He said something completely different. You're interpreting for the RCMP and misinforming us. Honey. And you're doing it on purpose because you want to please Daniel, so he's a lot more friendly in the interview. He's a lot more willing to open up to you. And that's just fine, because that's the kind of shit we expect from the CBC.
I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. Again.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect, and not wanting to speak on it is completely different than what Ali suggested. Completely different. Screw you, Ali. But don't worry, I know why she's doing it. You know what I mean? It's, you know what she's doing, but it's on full display right here. Yeah, I don't believe that, Charmaine. She's a crackhead if she does. I don't even believe that. I don't even believe that, Charmaine. She's in my chat saying that she actually believes. You're probably just putting that to wind me up. I don't even want to listen to that. It pissed me right off. Listen, this alley is one crackhead. Oh, listen, the parents are not suspicious whatsoever in all of this. Holy Hannah. They grow them thick in Nova Scotia. Yeah, of course, Jonah Burnham. He can't say suspect because it's not a criminal case yet. The reason that this whole conversation is a complete waste of effing time. Anybody else? Do you know what I mean? But we have to talk about it because it's right here. You've presented it to us. What would you expect them? Every time you come to see Rob McCammon, he tells you the same thing. He's not going to tell you anything. But when it happens, he'll certainly update you, just like he's updated us now to your little pleasure boy, Daniel Martell, about to become Canada-wide, Halifax to Victoria, alert to Pelee Island, an SX offender. A violent SX offender.
And we continue to gather information and whatever evidence that we are able to.
He just told you right there, we're still in the evidence collecting stage of all of this. And by the way, you can run a completely secondary investigation alongside and not even tell you about it. That's always possible. It doesn't mean everything has to be lumped under what happened to Jack and Lily. But after this little kerfuffle is through the courts and old Funboy becomes the newest member of that registry, they're going to be forced to look at this situation with a clear understanding of what the hell is up. The fact that there's a SX offender living in the household would suggest to an investigator that it's suspicious and worth pursuing a little bit further, just exactly how far this coercive behavior went. Let's hear some more stories and then some more. It seems like Maleya is opening up in that sense. She's opened up enough. She's opened up enough to press charges against Daniel with what it is that she came forward with, and none of that is going to be in detail in any of the paperwork that we have. What else is she going to open up about? What's next, I wonder? So because you can see it in how they represented Maleya recently in the newspaper, that they're protecting her like the victim that she probably is in this circumstance, even though that we're plenty upset and want her to be accountable for whatever happened to Jack and Lily. The information and the important information is coming out. We have to get to know it. So hold your opinions perhaps if you have to. They want her to feel as comfortable as possible in sharing that information, and they're protecting her from the media itself. And that flow of information is exactly where they wanted to be to begin with, since day one. That's why Cindy was protecting Maleya, perhaps, in that sense. So I have to walk back my upsettedness yesterday. I was upset before they announced this latest arrest at Cindy, and I'm not so upset at her. I was thinking to myself today, because then I understood a little bit maybe what she was protecting in order to help paint a better picture as what's going on, and what better way to progress the situation than Daniel to have and be convicted in this process to help paint a better picture of the circumstances inside that house. Well, you know it's got to be bad if Janie was ignoring it. She can't ignore anything. 444 Jack Q, what's up? Maleya's going to tell everything she can. Marie Antoinette, I believe she probably is. They'll go at whatever pace they need to. I wonder what's going to happen with Danny. Actually, one moment, please, because I do know what exactly is. I think I know what's going to happen with him. Let me see here. So what is life like for a person who's found guilty of SA, straight assault, and forcible confinement in Nova Scotia, as in prison? Life in prison for somebody convicted of these 3 charges. It depends on the sentence length and the court's classification of the offenses. Sentences under 2 years, common for many, such as convictions, especially if no prior record or aggravating factors are extreme. Yeah, it's fairly extreme aggravating factors from my judgment at this point. They are served in provincial correctional facilities managed by Nova Scotia Correctional Services. Key facilities include the Central Nova Scotia Correctional Facility is Burnside near Halifax. It's the largest and busiest, medium security, housing both men and the ladies. There's Cape Breton Correctional Facility in Sydney, the other end of the island. Well, it's on another island, technically. Northeast Nova Scotia Correctional Facility in Dartmouth, in the area for some classifications. Others like Southwestern Nova Scotia Correctional Facility or Waterville, though Waterville is more associated with youth historically. So sentences 2 years or more go to federal penitentiaries under Correctional Services Canada, CSC, such as Spring Hill Institution, which is a medium security in Nova Scotia, or others in the Atlantic region, such as Dorchester and New Brunswick. Federal time often involves more structured programming, but can include transfers. Probably wants to go to the women's prison. He's going to transition in prison, I bet. Hey, Tina Kachina. So specific challenges, Danny, for convictions involving sexual offenses. People convicted of SA, especially involving adults or even children, are labeled as SX offenders, SOs in correctional culture. Research and reports on Canadian prisons consistently show stigma and prisoner hierarchy. SOs are widely regarded as being at the bottom of the informal prison social hierarchy. Other inmates often view them with contempt, leading to the following: verbal harassment, threats, and ostracism. Higher risk of physical assault, extortion, or targeted violence from other prisoners. In some cases, the need for protective custody, PC, or segregation to avoid harm, which can mean isolation, limited yard time, fewer programs, and mental health strain. Don't worry about Danny, he's fine. Studies, including Canadian ones, on correctional officers and inmates confirm SOs remain heavily stigmatized. Huge douchebags, with repercussions for safety, program access, and reintegration. They may require escorts, not that kind, or special arrangements to attend programming safely. Programming may include SX offender treatment, if available, kick in the nuts, more structured in federal systems, but participation can be stigmatizing and sometimes require protection during sessions. You can't get out of this one. In mixed general population settings, many SOs keep a low profile, Daniel. Avoid discussing their charges. Well, that's going to be difficult for you. Or request transfers or protection early. Now, other factors influencing daily life, such as daily routine, looks something like structured around counts, meals, lockdowns, limited recreation, work assignments, like cleaning or the kitchen, which is not going to be where you are, and potential visits or maybe even a phone call. The mental health, high stress from stigma. Well, you can't take any stress leave in prison, pal. The fear of violence, family separation, and guilt or shame can exacerbate issues. Kind of like your math habit exacerbated all of your issues at home. Access to counseling varies. That's why you got a cellmate, probably. Not you, though. And is often limited in provincial jails. Now, post-release, which is something that you're not going to have to worry about ever. Long-term S-offender registry requirements, reporting restrictions apply in Nova Scotia, Canada, affecting housing, employment, and community life. Prison life is harsh overall in Canadian systems, but convictions like these add layers and danger and isolation due to inmate dynamics. Conditions can vary by facility, security level, behavior, whether or not your name's Daniel Martell, and population changes. Reports emphasize that provincial jails often have less oversight and worse conditions than federal ones for many inmates.
To find, and we'll make our decisions based on that. But I'm not in a position to really comment on suspects right now.
Yeah, he's not really in a position to comment on suspects, Amy. And you're specifically saying that the RCMP are saying that Daniel, Janie, and nobody else are suspects? What do you think? We're stupid? Get the hell out of here.
The mysterious nature of their disappearance.
You're lucky you're doing such a good job. I might be upset. Let's go to global. Not that it's any better. No, we'll do this one better. Let's go read a story. Remember the one back in the Globe and Mail a while ago? I think it's still down here. It's a long one. This one. Deep in the middle of Nova Scotia, far from its quaint coastal towns, since Landsdown, a hamlet of around 100 people in a cellular dead zone. Questionable. Obviously don't have Starlink. It's surrounded by endless spruce forests, bushes like razor wire, and bugs that breed swarms of black flies. Bogs. B-O-G-S. Whoops. What the hell are you doing there? Like many faded settlements across the Maritimes, Landsdown reached its peak more than a century ago. About 150 kilometers northeast of Halifax, it was once a busy railway stop, bustling with Scottish immigrants who dug iron and copper mines deep into the hillsides. Today, those mine shafts are abandoned. One lone train a day cuts through the community with a melancholic blare. Most of the people here live in a quiet rural existence in secluded homes, except Kent, scattered along the backcountry roads that only the locals know, like Derwood, where chickens and large dogs roam free. Interesting. and the rusted skeletons of old vehicles sit marooned in the dirt. Much like American Appalachia, this once prosperous corner of Pictou County, I wouldn't go that far, is now economically stagnant. Earl's lost his job at the tire plant. 1 in 5 children live in poverty, higher than most other counties in the province. It's here where the lives of Lily and Jack Sullivan were implanted 2 years ago, to a rundown trailer set back from Highway 289 with their pregnant moms and stepfather, her boyfriend. They needed a place to live because they just got their ass booted out of Patty's, and Daniel specifically, and their step-grandmother, Janie, who owned the home, welcomed them to live with her. Oh, jeez, come on home. Life for Lily, who was 6, and Jack at that time 4, inside the cluttered trailer in Landsdown, inside the cluttered trailer in Landsdown was chaotic. There were holes in the floor of the front stoop, tarps to protect the underside of the trailer from the elements. Oh, move right in. Here, me casa su casa. Tarps to protect the underside of the trailer from the elements. And so much racket from the lively children that their step-grandmother soon retreated to a camper, an RV in the driveway. Can you fucking believe it? You imagine you didn't know anything about this case and you read that paragraph? You see where this is going. Their stepfather, Daniel Martell, with pale eyes and ropey arms, worked at the local hardwood mill. Their mother, Maleya Brooks Murray, 27, a member of Sipakaknik First Nation with chin-length dark hair, stayed home with their baby Meadow. Inside the mobile home, a large wood stove filled up most of the living room. The kids' artwork was pasted to the kitchen wall, next to the sliding patio door that led to a yard where they spent hours playing next to the chicken coop. Lily chattered away to her dolls and stuffed animals, and Jack turned over rocks and pieces of wood in search of bugs and worms. Outside the fenced backyard, I wouldn't even go as far as to say that, and up over a steep embankment, the children sometimes played in a small fort nestled beneath the boughs of spruce. It was like their own little dream world. Whoops. You guys hear me okay? Oh, hold on. I've got to change this up for you, friends. Excuse me. I'm glad I checked. Excuse me. Heaven's sakes. Go over to a new scene. Brandy Lindy, you don't let your kids play near where the chickens poo, in your opinion, diseases. Yeah, you put your gloves on and you teach them to clean it up. You shovel it up and you put it in the wheelbarrow and you go and you dump it over there. Or you bag it up and you put it by the road and sell it for fertilizer. Or if you live there, the rats burrow in it. Hey, Daniel, Derwood, and Kent, you still protecting an SO? Or it's birds together, flock together, birds of a feather flock together. Oh, yeah, you got that one. Mate, hold on. Let me see what you're saying there. I got to move chat. There we go. I'll continue on here, my friends. Most days, typically, most days, Jack and Lily hopped on the bus to attend Salt Spring Elementary, a rural school about a 20-minute ride from their home. Jack, smaller than his peers, was strapped in at the front of the bus next to his sister. The morning the children were reported missing, the big yellow school bus rolled past the mobile home without stopping for a second day in a row. Jack and Lily were usually standing by the side of the road waiting to be picked up. But earlier that morning of May 2nd, their mother had marked them absent from school at about 6:15 a.m. Both parents have said it was because Lily had a cough. They say they heard the children playing in the next room while they dozed in the bedroom with their toddler. Because that's what you do with toddlers. You get your toddler and you doze. Daniel has said he saw Lily pop in and out a few times at about 9:40 a.m. The couple say they awoke and realized the kids were gone. They were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. Maleya told CTV Atlantic. We get up and I tell my partner, Daniel, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. Whoop. Instantly. We are looking outside. We are looking everywhere, yelling for them. Jack and Lily's mysterious disappearance have baffled the country. Not really. More than 3 months after they were reported missing after one of the largest searches in Nova Scotia's history and an intensive police investigation. Police still haven't confirmed the circumstances of how the young siblings went missing. It's possible that there were clues, even potential warning signs, in their home life. A closer look into the lives of Jack and Lily shows that all was not well in the trailer at Landsdown. That morning, Jack's blue dinosaur boots were gone. So were Lily's pink rubber boots and her white backpack with strawberries. The only clue left behind, according to the parents, was one child-sized boot print in the dirt driveway a few meters from their home. Maleya called 911 about 10 a.m. Daniel said he jumped in her white SUV, the Nissan Pathfinder, and left to check at nearby dirt roads, culverts and streams, everyone you could find. Soon, an army of search and rescue volunteers arrived wearing orange hunting vests. They fanned out, conducting a grid search in a swamp and thick woods around the home. Drones and a helicopter scoured overhead. A police dog on a leash with a handler set about the yard. Police combed every inch of the property. They rummaged through the mobile home, reached inside a hamster cage, tore apart a brush pile, unzipped the suitcase lying in the middle of the yard. Why was there a suitcase in the middle of the yard, I wonder, Danny? Did you throw it out there so Maleya could go and grab it in case she needed it for all the clothes that she was packing, bro? Why was there a suitcase in the middle of the yard? Anybody? Police combed every inch of the property. They rummaged through the mobile home, reached inside a hamster cage. What? So, reached inside a hamster cage. What the fuck would you need to reach inside a hamster cage for? Do you know what I mean? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Searchers reached inside a hamster cage. What, you couldn't just look in it? You think somebody was hiding in there? Like, how does that fit in? Searchers, they reached inside a hamster cage. Was the hamster in it and alive already? Like, what the hell's going on? He probably uses it for hooping. You know what I'm saying? Like Richard Gere style. Danny's into that. He puts the hamster in a condom and puts it up in his rectum. Rectum damn near killed him. A little late on the sound bites. Let's see. Reached inside a hamster cage. Tore apart a brush pile. You can understand that. Unzipped the suitcase lying in the middle of the yard. It's like you just walked into a couple's fight here, right? They even opened the top of the dryer at the end of the driveway and peered into the chicken hut. The chicken hut. It's not even a coop. It's just this little ramshackle thing they slap together and they call it, they're chicken farmers now. Yep. They've even got names. They searched the camper van, the RV, where Danny's mother, Janie, lives. 3 times. That's interesting, though. Like, 3 times. Why would they have to come in and search that RV? It's because it looks that goddarn sketchy. That's why. None of the cops came to the scene, and the first thing that they noticed was that nasty-ass RV in the driveway with the grouchy bitch. It's like coming onto a crime scene and it running into, like, Oscar the Grouch. This fucking weird puppet head flapping out of this broken down. First, you think it's dilapidated. Somebody's got an auto cover over it. Maybe they're, like, returning the aluminum to the earth. But no, that's actually a place where Janie is in there living, playing Candy Crush on her phone. Like, I really like this journalist. You can tell that this journalist is communicating things to us through their language. I love this article. Situation aside, in that sense. This is Amy at the CBC. This is what journalism in this circumstance looks like. You're just a puppet, a yes woman. You're paid to go and agree with Daniel. And you know that. Anything to be the face on that screen, girl. What? You don't look too bad. Now, let's see. They opened the top of the dryer at the end of the driveway and peered into the chicken hut. They searched the camper van where Daniel's mother, Janie McKenzie, lives 3 times. 3 times. Like, it's not that big. They had to have been suspicious of them, and there had to have been something in there that they were going to pull from. That morning, Maleya messaged the children's paternal grandmother, old Belinda Gray. Wherever you are, it's good to see you, darling. I never thought they would run off on me like that, she wrote. I'm so distraught. Ooh, that's very suggestive, isn't it? That's very, very suggestive, Maleya. Maybe, how do we know it wasn't Daniel sending that message with Maleya's phone? Hours later, and still no sign of the children, Maleya floated the idea that Jack and Lily, let me just float around some ideas here, that Jack and Lily, any ideas, kids? Maleya floated the idea that Jack and Lily were abducted. Are you guys sitting down? I'm going to float an idea out there right now. Float. She just floated that out there. Like, that in of itself is suspicious. This is a very serious situation. As a parent, you would be fucking adamant at the things that were going on at the time. Just wishy-washy, floating things around, flipping them in there, talking over tea. So casual. Maleya, whoop, hold on, you. Get back here. Sorry. Hours later and still no sign of the children, Maleya floated the idea that Jack and Lily were abducted. She texted Belinda, "Many are suspecting they were picked up by somebody, because there is no trace of them or Lily's backpack." Oh, so very specific in that circumstance. Why exactly? How do you know if you haven't even gone out to take a look? What is it that you're looking at and not looking at? Why are you not speaking for yourself and you're speaking for everybody else and what they're suspecting? So detached. That douchebag Daniel, Dirty Daniel, the SO, meanwhile, was tearing through the woods on foot and wading in streams, telling people he was moving faster than the police helicopters that day. Carloads of family members pulled up to help search. In the mid-afternoon, a non-encrypted radio channel crackled with voices of emergency responders. Families brought us to a location there, not far away, that there's a piece of a blanket which the mother says she believes belongs to her daughter, radioed an official. Emergency responders dispatched a canine unit to the site where they seized Lily's pink blanket, torn and wound around the lower branches of a spruce. It was about 1 kilometer from the mobile home off the gravel Landsdown road where Daniel's father, Earl, the dude who can't spell to save his life, even structure a sentence together, who never fucking went to school or had a day of English class, and it shows. Torn and wound around the lower branches of a spruce. It was about 1 kilometer from the mobile home off the gravel Landsdown road where Daniel's father, Earl, and uncles live. The road runs deep into the backcountry, connecting with dirt roads that snake further into the wilderness to remote lakes. Backwoods dumps. Well, we're just at a backwoods dump. And clear-cut tracts of land. When a police officer asked Daniel about the pink blanket, he said it wasn't Lily's at first. Police began pounding on doors in the early hours of the next morning. They came to the door of Daniel's father, Earl Martell, a retarded tire plant worker who lives atop a hill in a bungalow he built himself 40 years ago, one-handed with a wooden leg. Officers peered with flashlights into the corners of his living room. Holy shit, isn't that terrifying? It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When police officer asked Daniel about the pink blanket, 40 years ago, officers peered with a flashlight into the corners of his living room, jumbled with the craft supplies. I'll just bet they're craft supplies. And Hot Wheels of Daniel's 2 school-aged biological children who often visit Earl on weekends. Yeah, he's just quite the old grampy down there, isn't he? Old crazy grandpa with the buck teeth. He could eat a cob of corn through a chain-link fence, Earl could. Earl guided police into the yard, to old campers in a derelict log cabin filled with junk, and to Daniel's older model black sedan in need of repairs in which he couldn't afford. Police also banged on the door of the home of Belinda in Middle Muscadobot. How do they pronounce the end of that? Muscadoboy. Fucking hell. After half an hour from Landsdown, they were looking to talk to her son, who had been living there for the last 9 months after losing his roofing job. But Cody, Muscadobit, they were looking to talk, depends who you are, I guess. Dabbit? Muscadabbit? Okay, Ginger's mom. I'll keep my mind open. But, okay. All of my French classes were coming back to my mind in high school, but don't pronounce it like they taught you in class. Just ask somebody. Let me see. Police also banged on the door of the home of Belinda in Middle Muscadobit. About half an hour from Landsdown, they were looking to talk to her son, who had been living there for the last 9 months after losing his roofing job, but Cody Sullivan hadn't seen Jack or Lily since he and Maleya separated 3 years ago. He'd cut ties after she filed for full custody of the children. Over the coming days, police returned twice more to interrogate him and take photos of vehicles. Through the night, search and rescue volunteers combed the woods and helicopters and drones that can detect body heat. Scanned overhead. Maleya was up too, texting with Belinda. I have reason to believe they may have been taken by someone, she wrote. They should have found them by now if they were in the woods. The next morning, Belinda set out to help search for her grandchildren. As she drove toward her trailer on Highway 289 past the trail of orange traffic cones, it hit her where she was headed. Oh, this isn't good. Over the last 2 years, Maleya had distanced herself from Belinda. She stopped bringing the children to visit, later explaining that Daniel was jealous and didn't want her going there or even giving out the address. Sign of coercive control right there. The grandmother said she had never been invited to the house until she showed up to help in the search. Belinda didn't know this was the home where her grandchildren were living in and damn near puked. A home that she'd noticed multiple times on her way while driving to Halifax. Wow, she says, she thought. As she stepped inside to speak to Maleya, everything she saw, from the junk-strewn yard to the cluttered kitchen, was the total opposite of the neat and tidy woman she used to know. She had to say wow twice. Everything she saw, from the junk-strewn yard, like the dryer, the suitcase. The hell is this suitcase doing out there? The junk-strewn yard to the cluttered kitchen was a total opposite of the neat and tidy woman she used to know. Even though she'd heard it once before, she needed to hear it again. What happened? She asked. Maleya opened the low, rumbling, sliding patio door in the kitchen, demonstrating how she assumed the children quietly left the home while she and Daniel were sleeping as opposed to fighting like cats and dogs. Well, Maleya, Belinda recalled saying, you're the mom. You know these kids the best. You know these kids better than anybody, so where do you feel they'd go? What would take their interest? What direction would they go? Maleya had no idea. She didn't even want to have a conversation about it, guys. Maleya just said, I don't know. I don't know. She's already written them off. I don't know. You don't even want to hazard a guess, and at a time of an emergency, your kids need you more so than anything you would expect. And she's the first one to bail. The suitcase was for the hamster? Oh, I would expect. Maybe it was a playpen. That day, as search and rescue teams tramped through the woods, rolling ankles and plucking ticks from their skin, like Belinda, or Janie, Maleya stood on the side of the highway in front of a local television camera. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet. Think about that logic there. It's raining and they're probably... How about it's raining and they're soaking wet? Because of the rain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet. But with the sun today, I'm hopeful they're feeling warm. Well, it depends what you consider warm. As, you know, how cold I was about 2 hours ago? No. It's so detached. It drives me nuts reading that statement. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they're feeling warm. She said, swallowing back tears. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. I don't think so. That's not true. We want them home. Everyone loves them. You're filled with pain and sorrow because you just want them found. As though that's somebody else's responsibility at this point in time. You've done all your best to paint Jack and Lily as voluntarily walking out that door up to that point in time. She also took to Facebook pleading for police to issue an Amber Alert, a national public alert to help locate abducted children. I want my babies home. My children are not shy to strangers and will go with anyone. They don't understand stranger danger, she wrote on May 3rd. Neither does Janie because you got Derwood and Kent over there all the time. Daniel also pushed for such an alert. Oh, God darn it, of course he would. Telling the Globe that an abduction is a possibility. One moment, please. Yes, excuse me, friends. Sorry about that. My apologies. My apologies. I had to sort out just one of my daughter's tablets here. We have a battery issue. So, I'll continue on. Here, darling. It's still booting up, my dear. Just give us a second. Oh my gosh. This frickin' thing. I hear you, beautiful. Here, can you get it? I think I got it. Sorry for the delay, my friend. Sorry for the delay. It's such a pain in the ass. Holy shit. 1 second, please. Holy mackerel, we had a hard go of it here. We're back. Oh, Faxworth Smith. Welcome in. Let me see. If Wade knew what was going on, then Cindy knows everything. She had better talk too. Robin Edwards, I would think that probably they have a lot to do with where they are now, with what's going on in front of the court, or what's going to be going on. They would be there, part of what corroborates Maleya's stories as witnesses, right? So I'm trying hard not to sell them out at this point in time. I like to think that they're doing things because they need to paint a bigger picture of the culprit. And him now being an SO after he goes through this process of charges, it will then paint and force the investigators to be treating this case in a completely different manner. Because, of course, they would have been living with a out-of-control, tyrannical SO, painting an even clearer picture about what happened. If not already know everything that happened from Maleya at that point in time, because she's more comfortable. Takes a little time, one day at a time. So, going back a little bit, I'll pick up. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they're feeling warm, she said, swallowing back tears. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. Except Janie. Daniel. Janie's dog. And Derwood and Kent. Oh, they say they love kids in the clean way. I forgot. She also took to Facebook, pleading for police to issue an Amber Alert, a national public alert to help locate abducted children. Well, I want my babies home. My children are not shy to strangers and will go with anyone. They don't understand stranger danger. She's really suggesting there on May the 3rd. Daniel also pushed for such an alert because he's an idiot, telling the Globe and Mail that abduction is a possibility. Something he said he tried to raise early on with police, but he said they looked at him like he was crazy. I think they were looking at you that way because of different reasons. Perhaps it's because the home was so remote, where few travel or have reason to pass. Also, Nova Scotia police require specific criteria to activate an Amber Alert, including a description of the child. Daniel can't even do that because he says the clothes aren't even important in the first place. Abductor or vehicle, and reasonable grounds to believe an abduction has occurred. In this case, RCMP have repeatedly said they have no such evidence. Friends, there's 228 people in here. Hit that thumbs up while you're listening, friends. I asked them to go to every airport, all of the airports, an intake for different provinces, PEI in New Brunswick, Daniel said. Fuck, they're not even that busy. Daniel said this breaking down crying like a little bitch. Just breaks down crying. As though that's just the hook to all of this. How many times are you going to break down crying, dude? Why are you crying now? Especially when you haven't said anything. They will go with anybody, he says, because they're undiagnosed autistic. They will go with anybody. As long as you offer them food or water. Think about that. Food or water. Say, I'll take you home to mom or dad, and they'll immediately get in with them. He's already thinking like a predator. That's how he gets most of his dates on Facebook dating. That's how he got Maleya. Old Danny's talking about how they're undiagnosed autistic. That's not a thing, you fucking moron. You're undiagnosed autistic, bro. But then again, they'll never be able to tell because of the copious levels of mathematics that you stink into your face. Sucking on that glass dick. Blah, 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 blah. I asked them to go over to every airport. We've got that one. 15. They will go with anybody because they're undiagnosed autistic. They will go with anybody. He said it twice. As long as you offered them food or water, Danny says, they'll go with you. Just like when you confine Maleya. You coax her out with some food and water. She'll do anything you say after you confine her for a little bit. Oh, here comes my favorite part, y'all. It was late afternoon that Saturday when Daniel and Maleya's relatives began to turn on each other. I'm not so sure they were turning on each other as opposed to Maleya's relatives getting wise to what was going on. Who's in my chat sending super chats? Shannon, is that you? God bless you. 20 Australian dollars is very generous, my dear. Thank you very much. It was late afternoon that Saturday when Daniel and Maleya's relatives began to turn on each other. In the dooryard of the trailer, a discussion about math use in the home led one of Maleya's family members to hurl an accusation. That stupid tweaker Danny must have something to do with the children's disappearance. That paragraph right there supplied more information about that situation than anybody has who was present there. And that's sad. Let me read that again for you at the back. It was late afternoon that Saturday when Daniel and Maleya's relatives began to turn on each other. That's not 100% correct. Because it was Maleya's relatives, if you want to say, turning on Daniel's family. All those sketchy son of a bitches. Good on them for it too. Calling them out in real time. High fives around. It was late afternoon that Saturday when... Oh, I guess that's a correct statement. Excuse me, I'm fucked up. It was late afternoon that Saturday when Daniel and Maleya's relatives began to turn on each other. Excuse me. We're saying the same thing. I just was refusing to read the Daniel part. My correction. In the dooryard of the trailer, a discussion in the dooryard. In the dooryard. Oh, you mean at the silent rolling door, I wonder, at the back? In the dooryard of the trailer, a discussion about the math use in the home. In the home, as opposed to outside the home. So you're definitely incorporating it in. Everybody knows about your little habit there, fruitcake. A discussion about math uses in the home led to one of Maleya's family members to hurl an accusation, high five Haley, that Daniel must have done something to do, or must have something to do with the children's disappearance. Cha-ching! Holy shit, all net on that shot. The charge ignited a blaze of angry words. Eventually, Daniel's nasty mother, Janie, ordered some of Maleya's family members off her property because she couldn't take the heat in the kitchen. Just up the road, Daniel and Maleya waited at the search and rescue headquarters for an update from police. It was around supper time when officers pointed out on maps where searchers had been, unlike Daniel would ever try to do. For all the searching that he's done, he just didn't bother to take any of his communication devices with him. Didn't need it. Don't need that where I'm going. Oh, I wonder why that is. Maleya said she wasn't feeling all that well all of a sudden. She walked out with Meadow on her hip. In the back of an ambulance, Maleya sobbed uncontrollably. Her mother, Cindy, a registered nurse, at her side. Daniel pleaded with Maleya to speak to her alone. Let me talk at you alone, away from everybody, darling. But Cindy stepped in front of him. Cindy, get the fuck out of here, Daniel recalled, saying. Daniel's recalling this. Oh, shit. It says Daniel recalled saying it. It's like he quoted it. Oh, I told her to fuck off. When you lie, usually you lie, you take time to lie to save people's feelings and not let other people into your personal opinions about others, right? So there's an okay time to maybe not tell the truth in that sense. Daniel was really telling the truth there, according to the statement. Cindy, get the F out of here, Daniel recalled saying. The woman hustled to Cindy's car, strapped in Meadow, and sped off down the dirt road. I love you, Daniel called out to his child through the rolled up back window. I love you. Do you, though? Oh, thank you, the real Norbeaster. How will you defend Daniel now, Janie? The real Norbeaster is asking. And I know you're sitting there listening to this because you've got nothing better to do. The woman hustled to Cindy's car, strapped in Meadow, and sped off down the dirt road. I love you, Daniel called out to his child. Sex offender Daniel called out I love you to his child through the rolled up back window. Are you sure it was to Meadow? It was the last time the couple was together. After that, Maleya blocked his punk ass Daniel from contacting her and later changed her Facebook status to single and looking. Belinda emerged from the woods just before dark. It had been 36 hours since the children had disappeared, and she was considering sleeping in her car. Would have been way better conditions than Janie's RV. To begin searching again at first light, but then she learned Maleya had left. That she had left Landsdown, something that has troubled Belinda ever since. If she could leave, Belinda said, her chin quivering in sorrow, then it meant she knew her kids weren't coming back. That's a powerful statement at that point in time. She observed something that she knew she was right about. That fruitcake Daniel was also upset that Maleya left. I've been the only one looking. I've been the only one there for them, he sobbed in an interview. This is Danny. Danny's so upset that Maleya left. I'm the only one looking for them out here. You're supposed to bring me sandwiches. I've been the only one there for them. You've been the only one there for Jack and Lily. What does that statement refer to? That's probably something that he reminds her of all of the time. He browbeats her with it, or used to. She can't control them. Only I can. Ooh, there's some leakage. Here we got Daniel talking about control. Yeah, How about coercive control? She can't control them. Only I can. Evil, sinister laugh. They act out whenever she's there. She always gets me to calm them down. Right in the ass. Or gets them to stop fighting. Or feeds them. Or get them up and put them to bed every night. Almost tells, he's listing off everything, right? The things that bother him the most. These are the things that drove you crazy, that you used against her before you took the kids' lives, Mr. Hands-On. It just breaks my heart not to ever see anybody. Well, you're going to be crying that a lot when you're sitting in a prison cell. Can you believe that came out of his mouth, this guy? That's a mouthful right there. I've been the only one there for them. She can't control them, only I can. They act out whenever she's there. She always gets me to calm them down, or get them to stop fighting, or feed them, or get them up, and put them to bed every night. She was asking me to do everything. See, leakage all through there, isn't it? Now you're really telling us about the things that were going on behind the scenes and exactly how you felt. It just breaks my heart not to ever see everybody. Somehow I don't believe that. The day before the children were reported missing, the Mounties say the children were observed in public with family members. It was the last time they were seen by anyone outside the home. Daniel has said in an interview that the evening before the kids disappeared, everyone was home. He said he spent the evening working on the fence in the backyard. It was a night just like any other for the young children, he added, though he couldn't remember what time they went to bed. Oh, it was just a night just like any other for the kids. Yes, thank you for asking. There is, however, at least one account of strange activity in the mobile home that night. There is, however, at least one account of strange activity at the mobile home that night. RCMP spokesperson Corporal Carly McCann confirmed that police received a tip on May 8th from somebody who described hearing a vehicle come and go from the mobile home throughout the night before the children were reported missing. Yeah, like 4 times in 3 hours, 4 times in 5 hours, between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. approximately. That's Bradley Wong and Justin Smith. Eyewitnesses corroborating stories. Investigators are continuing to review and assess more than 600 tips from the public and follow up on over 800 tasks, she wrote in an email. A neighbor who spoke to the Globe said they reported this information on May 8th. The neighbor said they were working on a vehicle in their own yard when they heard the same loud 5-speed car come and go from the trailer about 6 times, from midnight to 5 a.m. after the children's disappearance. The neighbor considered it important information and reported it to police right away. That's working on this claim's behalf as credible in that sense. The Globe agreed not to name the neighbor because concerns for their safety in the community. He came out. They came out already. For the next 5 days, search and rescue teams poured over the area. On the 6th day of the children's disappearance, police announced they were scaling back. It was unlikely, they said, that the children were still alive. Important to prove that point in court, too, when you're going for a prosecution. In the following weeks, searchers returned twice more. They zeroed in around the home and the natural gas pipeline. A clear-cut trail of land that runs through the countryside, where a possible child-sized boot print was found. Lily's blanket was also nearby. Police divers scoured lakes. They drained the septic tank, this of the mobile home, and inspected 4 abandoned mine shafts in Landsdown, a search that's eerily familiar for locals. Way back in 2002, amateur mineral explorers discovered the remains of a man who had disappeared 19 years earlier in one of these old copper mines. This is a 39-year-old Alex Penny's car was found abandoned on a dirt road in Landsdown. Months after his mysterious disappearance, it's a chilling homicide that never ever has been solved, one that rattles around in the collective memories of the people who live here. Well, don't worry about that, because this one is going to be solved. Police have said they plan to search more of these old mine shafts for the children. A provincial database shows 5 within several kilometers of the mobile home. Dozens more pepper the backwoods and rural highways of Pictou County. Police have said they plan to search more of these old mine shafts. We read that. Police have described the case as highly unusual, not just because of how ugly Daniel is, or Janie. It has nothing to do with their looks. Most missing persons cases are resolved shortly after they're reported to police, but the disappearance of Jack and Lily have become a complex and intensive major crime investigation involving a tremendous amount of careful, deliberate investigative work, said RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon. You know, Amy, the one that you misinterpreted just not too long ago. In an update last month, the Nova Scotia government offered a $150,000 reward for this information. So far, the Mounties say they're drawn... You okay? Do you have it, Chair? Where's your tablet? So far, the Mounties say they've drawn on units from other provinces, interrogated dozens of people, sought 10 judicial authorizations to seize records and search warrants, administered polygraph tests, bought Daniel McDonald's 4 times, took possession of electronic devices, viewed thousands of video files, and are awaiting forensic tests on items found during the search, including Lily's pink blanket and all kinds of things from Janie's RV. Daniel initially told police that the Globe and Mail on May 5th that the pink blanket found in the woods did not belong to Lily, but he later changed his story in subsequent interview he gave. Note the key words in that statement is he changed his story. Later, he changed his story. Oh, Helicopter Grandma, thank you very much, darling. Thank you for the super sticker. Mwah. In a subsequent interview, he suggested the blanket was planted, taken from his week-old garbage. He also claimed that 2 of his sweaters mysteriously disappeared from his home after the kids went missing. He declined to elaborate any further. Well, isn't that interesting? I don't want to give too much away. You know where to look when the parent in the situation starts telling you that he can't talk about it, that they can't talk about whatever it is that has to do with your missing children at that time. We got a problem. Right away. There's no getting past that. There's absolutely no reason in the moment you need to be withholding any sort of evidence. You shouldn't even be recognizing what evidence is, Mr. Victim. Behind the scenes, people's concern for the children's welfare have already raised red flags, not to mention all the statement analysts and all the behavioral analysts like Mike DeMann and Ninchi. Isn't that right, Darren? A child protection supervisor in a nearby town of New Glasgow rushed to prepare a memo for Deputy Minister Craig Beaton about Jack and Lily on the day of the children's disappearance. This according to redacted briefing notes obtained by the Globe through Freedom of Information legislation. Two weeks later, where were we going here? 2 weeks later, in mid-May, another memo about the children was prepared for senior staff in the province's Child Welfare Department. Opportunities and Social Development Minister Scott Armstrong, who also told the Globe he asked for more information about his department's interaction with the children. Like, did you guys recognize the signs? Has so far been declined to discuss how government responded to concerns about Jack and Lily's well-being prior to this appearance, specifically talking about the situation from the school's concerns. There needs to be further questioning on that. They did everything right. They couldn't have done anything more in that sense. They did everything that they were supposed to. How come we couldn't protect those two? Where did things go awry? Probably a lot of denial from just the nature of a substance abuser in the moment. Like, what did it actually take? But questions we can figure out later. What is known about Jack and Lily's interaction with child welfare authorities is that a social worker came to the trailer over concerns raised by the school several months before their disappearance to access their home life. Teachers and other professionals who work with the children have a legal duty to report if they have reasonable grounds to suspect a child has, may have, is, or is about to suffer abuse. And home visits occur when there's reason to be concerned about a child's safety and care. Daniel, however, told the Globe the visit was related to the kids' learning difficulties at school. Learning difficulties? They're 4 and 6. You don't worry about that till much further down the road. He's already denying and providing you with the things that he wants you to think rather than what really is. Listen, you don't start talking about and putting labels on your kids until you have a diagnosis of anything. Until then, everything's fine. He said the children were suspected of having autism and were scheduled to see a doctor the same month. They vanished. He declined to answer further questions about the involvement of child protection staff in the kids' lives. From the outside, there were signs that the children's home life was strained. They were developmentally behind other children and arrived at school grubby and without appropriate winter clothing, prompting staff to provide it for them. This according to a school board employee with direct knowledge. The Globe is not identifying the source because they're not authorized to disclose details about students. Such an interesting, brave thing to publish. Thank you for that leak of information, by the way, at this point in time, looking back. Because you can go and quote the Globe talking about their source at the school if you're so concerned about the credibility of that. Last December, Jack came to school with a black eye, according to a photo of him posted by his elementary school. That would also be known as what, friends? An assault. He gave everybody a black eye for Easter. Last December, Jack came home to school with a black eye, according to a photo of him posted by his elementary school. The photo of the class trip, December 13th, 2024. Note that date. 5 months before he and his sister disappeared. Shows him sitting next to other students in a forest with a green and purple bruise below his left eye. Isn't that interesting? That's an interesting 2 pieces of paragraphs that you should thank the Globe and Mail for. You don't see Allie doing that, do you? But she has given a great interview. I do like her little snippets. I'm not being too critical. Another photo shows possible black eye and bruising. Another photo, guys. Friends, they're talking about another photo in the paper. Another photo shows a possible black eye and bruising on Jack's face. In a photo taken in September 2024, an injury that Daniel defended on social media, saying it was caused by Lily. Kids, eh? There's always an answer from an abuser in that sense. And it never has anything to do with themselves. Daniel did not respond to questions, but here we go again, friends. 3 important paragraphs in light of what Daniel's facing at this point in time. Assault, SA. Forcible confinement. Think about, that's a double aggravating factors. Holy mackerel. The fact that it's S-sexual, an S-sexual assault and forcible confinement. And that was to somebody he supposedly loved. That's what you do to the people that you like. Imagine what he did to the people that he didn't like in that place. Last December, Jack came to school with a black eye. Another photo at September 2024. Daniel did not respond to questions asking how Jack received the black eye in December. But in the private Facebook messages that were shared with the Globe, he acknowledged Jack had many black eyes. Thank you for posting that, Globe and Mail. Here's a very rare time that you see journalists acknowledge what we go through every day. I'm not trying to steal any clout, but what I'm saying is they're acknowledging the information that we dissect here on social media all the time, giving it credibility in relation to the pattern of behavior that we recognized early on with this scumbag Daniel. Daniel did not respond to questions asking how Jack received the black eye in December, but in private Facebook messages that were shared with the Globe, he acknowledged Jack had many black eyes. One time, Lily punched him in the face, he wrote. I'll just bet she did, because that's what we little girls do. He also said Lily had a black eye when the children went missing, from an incident with a Tonka truck that occurred on May 1st, the day before the children disappeared. Well, isn't that interesting? He also said Lily had a black eye when the children went missing, from an incident with a Tonka truck that occurred on May 1st, the day before the children disappeared. She pushed down on the truck and it swung up and hit her in the face. The family was under pressure. A confluence of financial woes left the couple turning to relatives for help. He also said Lily had a black eye. We got that. The family was under pressure. A confluence of financial woes left the couple turning to relatives for help. Like many lower-tier workers at the mill, Daniel had been cut back to 1 shift a week during the spring thaw because of an annual ban on heavy logging trucks on soggy local roads. Well, why aren't you working, Jordan? Oh, he's off on stress leave, I'm sorry. His car off the road because it needed repairs he couldn't afford. Wasn't drivable, but Maleya could afford to go get herself a new Nissan Pathfinder to get her ass out of there. Patty probably bought it to help lure, help get her out of there. His car off the road because it needed repairs he couldn't afford, wasn't drivable. And he had to rely on his uncle, who also worked at the mill. Everybody works at the mill, bro. Uncle works at the mill. Darren Geddes used to be working at the mill until he got fired for flashing the secretary. Jordan used to work at the mill until he fucking bailed and took off all this time for sick leave because the old lady left him. Dog died. His car off the road because it needed repairs he couldn't afford, wasn't drivable, and he had to rely on his uncle, who also worked at the mill, to take him to work. Or Maleya, whose maternal grandmother had recently helped her buy that sexy new Nissan. Daniel's father, Earl, that spaz, said he bought the couple groceries and gas and provided firewood to heat their damn home. Fuck, they got it pretty nice over there, don't they? Daniel, however, denied having money problems. Doesn't that tell you everything? The level of denial going on around this place? He's got no money problems. He's living with his mom. He's got no fucking rent. Earl's coming by with groceries and gas and firewood to heat the damn place. He can't afford to fix the car, but he's got no problems financially. The fact that you don't have a normal income should be a warning sign, but again, he's not worrying because he's got milk money from Maleya. He's got Jack and Lily money coming in. Up until the point he snapped. Up until the trigger point, the trigger in all of this, which led to what we're suspecting to be double homicide. We're not even hiding. Daniel, however, denied having money problems and had also claimed to friends that he was getting into investing and turning his life around after his divorce. It's probably what he has listed on his Tinder profile. Or, I mean, his... what's the other one? Grindr. That's his Grindr profile. He's an investor now. You know what he's investing in? Insurance fraud. He's investing in those $1,500 cars where he goes and drives them into the ditch and writes them off and collects the insurance money 3 times in a few months. Other means of cash flow had also been cut off. Oh, here we go. That's right, Explore Core Grindr profile. People up in my Discord are talking about they monitor it for preds, right? Of course, these guys are fucking sexual preds. He'll have a Grindr profile. He's a tweaker. That's where he met Kent, probably. Kent probably uses Daniel's shirtless photo on his Grindr profile. What about you, Darren? Do you use Jordan's photo? Other means of cash flow have also been cut off. In recent months, child support payments from Jack and Lily's biological father had stopped after he lost his job. Maleya's monthly Canada Child Benefit check, or baby bonus, which under federal guidelines would be about $1,900 per month, was halted because stupid Daniel hadn't filed his taxes, which were due by April 30th. The struggles didn't end there. Maleya described Daniel as controlling and eventually as a sex offender, and said she had wanted out, writing in a message to Belinda on June 15th that I never wanted to stay there in the first place. Holy shit, I'd say. It was an absolute nightmare. Hell, Janie made it even worse. Didn't you, Janie? Belinda wrote back saying she wished Maleya would have reached out. We would have done what we could to help. I know, Maleya responded. My mum is saying the same thing. Cindy, Maleya's mother, declined to be interviewed. After the children's disappearance, Maleya also confided in her paternal grandmother, Connie Brooks, who's a member of the Sipeknecatic First Nation. She described how Daniel could hold her down and take her phone. Well, God bless Connie Brooks for coming out. See, there's something that you wouldn't know any of the different when you read it for the first time, but in hindsight, Connie Brooks is very brave to come out and say that in the news. She described how Daniel would hold her down and take her phone. He was having her, I don't know what you call it, scared. She couldn't go anywhere, do anything. He was having her, I don't know what you call it, scared. She couldn't go anywhere or do anything, Connie said. That's what she told me, and that's what I told the detectives, Connie said. High five. When she asked her granddaughter about the rug use in the home, she said Maleya told her that Daniel concealed a rug addiction for nearly the first year of their relationship. Can you imagine that tweaker running around the house? Tweaker running around Patty's house? That rando tweaker that Maleya just brought home from Facebook. Daniel did not respond to questions about these allegations, but he has insisted in interviews with the Globe that he's never struggled with rugs and does not have a problem, just like he doesn't have any financial problems, y'all. Early on, straight up denial. Don't talk to me about my rug problems. It has everything to do with this. Silly didn't respond to the questions about these allegations, but he has insisted in interviews with the Globe that he's never struggled with rugs and does not have a rug problem. Despite that, he has admitted to taking mathematics and pretty much everything, he said recently, started attending Narcotics Anonymous 3 times a week. And is taking online courses in anger management, depression, parenting, child protection, substance abuse, the unaliving, self-unaliving, and violent behavior that are recognized by child protective officials. I have to clear my name for CPS, he said. It's best to do that. Well, they don't make you take all of those things for no reason. It tells everybody there's something to be concerned about here, based off of what Maleya has been telling them. Imagine the things that she's not telling them. They can. Without answers, theories abound. For some, maybe they're a way to hold out hope or shift attention elsewhere. Isn't that interesting? Theories abound. Without answers, theories abound. For some, maybe they're a way to shift attention elsewhere. Skip what they first said. Maybe they're a way to hold out hope or to shift attention elsewhere. It's calling out the in the same sort of double entendre. There's a meaning, and the journalist is signaling, recognizing that there's all kinds of tomfoolery about with Daniel, sock accounts, Derwood and Kent. That's calling them out right there. There are those who believe the children are still alive, taken or hidden somewhere. One such rumor circulating in social media group chats is that Lily and Jack were taken by one of Maleya's relatives and are being held on a reserve. Darren? The rumor prompted Sipekaknik Chief Michelle Glasgow to respond on social media. That whole dialogue was made up by a racist fool. Exactly, Derwood is a racist fool. That's Darren Geddes. And anyone entertaining it is a racist fool. Exactly what we've been saying here, and it comes out every time Derwood frickin' talks. She wrote this in a text message that she posted to Facebook on July 10th. Well, my hats go off to you, Chief Michelle. The vacuum of information about the missing children's case has stoked voracious demand for clues and conjecture on social media and in online true crime communities. One of the most popular online sources in the true crime amateur community, there's misinformation, is Sunny at It's a Criming Shame, a self-absorbed Vancouver-based YouTube channel which has morphed into exclusively discussing this case. So it goes on to say, host Sonny Austin invites guests on the show to discuss the case and rant provocatively. I'd say a little bit more provocative and accurate, but she's good too. She calls it out. Calling out those who she disbelieves. In the case of Jack and Lily, Daniel frequently pops up in her live chats like a whack-a-mole, she says. Belinda has also called in and been treated like shit several times, by the way, according to some people. Let's see here. Belinda has also called in as a guest. Most recently, she presented text messages with Maleya. Fantastic. Who, when reached by phone, refused to verify whether the text messages were hers. It's very difficult to do that over the phone. Maleya has also repeatedly declined to be interviewed by the Globe, saying police advised her not to speak to the media. She said she has put her faith 100% in the authorities to find Lily and Jack. It looks like that's more true than we recognized. On the ground, the high-profile case has also conjured up other drama. Derwood, Kent. Recently, a local online content creator arrived at the home, Tint, of Maleya's mother. I won't even read that. They're just going to trash Tint in that sense. We don't need to do that. 45-minute interaction with her partner, Wade Paris, discussing the missing children, and posted the video online. The interviews with the Globe and Mail, Daniel has said he had nothing to do with the children's disappearance, and he said he passed a polygraph test with police to prove it. Well, congratulations. He lamented the stigma the case carries over into his everyday life. Well, so is this SO situation. He's on stress leave from the mill. People stare or give him dirty looks whenever he goes out in public. Most recently, at a used car dealership, he said a salesman snatched a vehicle key from his hand and walked away when he realized he was talking to Lily and Jack's stepfather. I wonder who that guy is. That guy deserves a high five and a pat on the back. You can't afford this car. We know what you're going to do with it. No, I'm good. He said a salesman snatched a vehicle key away from his hand and walked away when he realized he was talking to Lily and Jack's stepfather. I wonder if that's even true. His Facebook is filled with direct messages from strangers calling him a child unaliver. Where are the bodies? He said they ask every day. Yeah, they're relentless. But then a profile that the Globe has previously communicated with Daniel on also appears in Facebook chat groups frequently, offering up riddles and conjecture that the children were taken by someone they know and are being held prisoner. As long as I remain the target, the sick person or persons that have the kids may relax and make a mistake. The RCMP better capitalize on that, the user wrote this week. That's Daniel. That's Danny's sock account. His mother, Janie, the old crow, has said she also believes the children are still alive because his mother, Janie, has said she also believes the children are still alive because she says they have never gone into the woods by themselves or wandered off. That's why they're alive? Doesn't really answer the question. A self-described hermit, just a nasty trailer trash, rotten mouth, stinky ass, never washing, Timu wearing hermit. It took her more than 2 months to speak publicly because she's scared. Doing an interview for the CBC and releasing voice memos in a public social media chat, she said she heard the children playing in the backyard from inside her nasty RV in the driveway on the morning they disappeared. And she too believes somebody took them. Maleya's community of Sepakaknik, her father Henry Brooks is hopeful his grandchildren will be found. He says the last time he spoke with the children, Jack told him he loved them. It's weighing heavy on me, he said, really heavy. At her home in Middle Muscodobit, Belinda spends her days alternately tending her sprawling back garden and advocating for her missing grandchildren. She appears on YouTube live streams and in social media chats, picking up breadcrumbs along the way that she hopes will lead to Jack and Lily. In her blue and white kitchen where Jack once crawled across the laminate floor and Lily hammed it up with their gardening hats and old eyeglasses, she's resigned to a grim reality. I think somebody there must know what happened, she said about the mobile home in Landsdown. Isn't that powerful for somebody who was there and experiencing and witnessing it to say, Jack and Lily's grandmother, Belinda says, I think somebody must know what happened. Let me repeat that, excuse me. I think somebody there, meaning at the trailer, at Garlock Road, must know what happened, she said about the mobile home in Landsdown. I don't believe my grandchildren are alive, but not to get answers like this is... I don't believe my grandchildren are alive. But to not get answers, it's like, no, there's answers out there. Exactly. It's why we do this. 2 kids just don't disappear in the morning and nobody knows nothing. So if they don't find answers outside that home, then the answers are inside that home. And that's not Belinda just watching Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack. This ain't the Twilight Zone. In hindsight, Belinda says she wishes she would have pushed harder to see the kids, to see Lily on her birthday in March. Looking at photos of the children from the past 2 years, she noticed they looked thin, possibly malnourished with dry, cracked lips. Something, she says, she might have picked up on had she seen them in person, and it makes her wonder about the other adults in their lives. She recently learned others had concerns about the children's safety in the home. She also wants to know what child protection social workers knew prior to Jack and Lily's disappearance. I hate to say it, but every one of us failed them, Belinda said. We all failed these kids. Yeah, well, talk to Earl, pal. Why don't you talk to Earl? Why don't you put down the camera? Be a man. You want to be a man? Old grandpa.
A hypoallergenic clean recommended by dermatologists.
Oh, I don't use Tide.
Martell is facing charges of sexual assault, and forcible confinement. Martell is the stepfather of missing children Lily and Jack Sullivan. RCMP have confirmed they arrested 34-year-old Martell on Monday. Police say the victim is an adult, but are not providing any more details. Martell was living with Lily, Jack, and their mother when the children went missing from his family home in Landsdown, Nova Scotia last May. The woods surrounding the home was searched for days, and RCMP Major Crimes has been conducting an extensive investigation. But little is known about what happened to the children, and so far, the case has not turned criminal. Earlier this month, RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon said none of the children's family members are suspects.
I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. Again, we continue to gather information and whatever evidence that
Well, I can't believe I had to play that cockamamie clip again where she misspoke on Rob McCammon. I'm really sorry, Rob. Maybe it was by design. I wanted that one interview I was looking at a little bit earlier. Oh, you want to hear Dan? This is the recent Daniel voice clip from
Newly
Global.
unsealed court documents in Lily and Jack Sullivan's missing persons case are raising questions about the relationship between the children's mother, Maleya Brooks Murray, and stepfather Daniel Martell. Filed to support search warrant applications for the case, the documents lay out Brooks Murray's and Martell's responses to investigators' questions. When asked if Martell was ever physically abusive in their relationship, Brooks Murray said he would, quote, try to block her, hold her down, and once pushed her. She said he would also take her phone from her when she tried to call her mom, which would sometimes be physical and hurt. Brooks Murray declined Global News' request for comment.
That's your forcible confinement right there, isn't it?
Have you ever tried to block Maleya, hold her down, or push her?
No, all those allegations are false. And as I said, it was just to paint me in a bad light. That's basically why there's all of those allegations of abuse came out. I never have physically abused Maleya.
Martell says he approved of these redactions being lifted, adding not much has changed when it comes to his public reputation.
I've been, trying to keep the public up to date as much as possible. My image hasn't changed at all. It was always Daniel's evil, Daniel's a monster, and with that painted narrative, the public automatically will just jump to the belief of guilt.
He says he provided his DNA to run forensics on Lily's blanket, which was found in the woods by family members on May 2nd.
They didn't need a warrant to have my DNA, so I was willing to do it. I watched them sign on the consent form, no criminal involvement in the case of Lily and Jack. So it was nice to see that, that box checked for no criminal involvement. I signed my name on the consent sheet.
The disappearance of the Sullivan siblings is still being treated as a missing persons investigation, despite the involvement of major crimes.
But when they do have a suspect and they dive into investigating that suspect or group of individuals, then it will pivot to a criminal investigation at that point.
Ella MacDonald, Global News, Landsdown Station, Nova
Scotia. Well. The winds of shit have changed. You smell that? Danny? Darren? Smell that, boy? That's the shit winds. Esther says they won't have to ask and hopefully find more about Lily and Jack. It's coming to fruition in that sense. Ask DM that question differently, Fax. Ask him if he ever held down their ABUSED, anyone else previously, and see what he answers. Well, one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Where is that interview? Probably be down on the side.
Your aura?
Your aura? Girl, your aura. Here's Belinda's interview. Where's Danny? There he is. There's that one. There's that one. Where'd it go? Keep going. There we go, baby. Right there. I knew you'd be there.
Anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything.
So what do you make of the fact that they are bringing the cadaver dogs in?
Well, I'm actually pretty happy about that because it's been about 3 months. I've been asking for them, and it's just been delayed, I guess, till now. But
Well, I've been asking for them all
I know
this time.
things take time, and dogs are hard to get.
Man, I've been asking for those things. Kind of like an acid enema. Is there a way for a woman to check new potential partners for a history of DV or SA in Canada? Why are you looking? Are you looking, baby? Oh! Big comedy moments. Now, the consent sheet does not have that box at all. Nice try there, DM. Well, dude, he's talking about reading on some paper that nobody else is understanding what it is that you're talking about, just to say that the box wasn't checked, saying that you were guilty in all of this, and you're thankful for that, whatever that was. Stupid ass. He's really having a hard time coming up with new original lines to convince people that he's innocent, is all it is.
So what does this say to you? Because, I mean, they are dogs searching for human remains.
Well, I know that it's going to be really hard work now that there's so much vegetation in the woods, but I'm pretty happy that they're going to be able to do it. I even hope that they bring more than one dog if they have access to more than one dog.
Wow. Breaking fucking news. Old Danny hopes that they bring even... I even hope they bring more than one dog. Bring 20, bring 50, bring 100. What the fuck do you care? You're not paying for it. The hell do you care? You're the reason somebody has to pay for it. He is the dumbest criminal ever, Norbeaster. So it's like, in the context which he's talking, he can't speak on certain things the way that he's speaking. He's crossing over between entendres. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a guilty person who's acting innocent and presuming that his nonsense story is being bought, and he's furthering information, but he can't help but cross over into a completely other personality in that sense, another reality. The truth, the truth to the situation in which he's acting away from.
So what are you happy about? What do you hope this will bring?
I would just like to see maybe the social media speculation theories and accusations, maybe they're not going to stop, but
all the accusations on social media. You were talking about where the hell Jack and Lily Sullivan are, and he's talking about accusations on social media. That's his priority. Anything to avoid talking about the dogs sniffing out the kids' bodies, because it would lead to questions that you don't want to be associated or answer. You just are dodging and grasping at straws with these nonsensical statements without any meat.
slow down, because at this point they're getting ridiculous.
So are you thinking that
so
the dogs will go in
ridiculous.
there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything. I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it. It's just to keep the public informed, I guess, that they're hard at work.
You can't get a good gauge on Daniel at this point because the statements that he's giving are so vague and ambiguous. You don't know what side this guy is on. You're in and out of suspect and innocent victim and concerned citizen to leader of the search party to friend of all detectives. How do you like that SA charge, pal? That has a double exclamation point on it, like every one of your half-bred statements that you give the ladies on Facebook dating.
Do you think it will rule things out?
Yeah, I think we'll rule a lot of things out. We'll rule out that the RCMP are, working hard, and there's no human remains on the property.
Is there any piece of you that's preparing for the fact, like, what if they do find something?
No, because I didn't do anything. I know Maleya didn't do anything. I know my mother didn't do anything.
What are you looking at? Why aren't you looking at the lady in the eyes? She asked you a question, pal. The lady asked you a question, boy. Didn't Earl raise you right? Didn't Janie teach you how to treat the ladies? What's going on with you? What's going on with this family of yours and this little love connection at the lumber mill? Do you guys all stovepipe? Do you guys all have grinder profiles, if you know what I mean? I bet you do.
Those are 3 people on the property. I mean, after the polygraph exams, they should have known right there. We didn't kill any of the kids, or we didn't kill the kids.
Why do you think that they're not possibly, like, why that they didn't possibly wander into the woods?
Well, with the amount of resources that were used, and I mean, for everything from drones.
Well, time to recite and parrot the CBC updates information back to the CBC interviewer. She already knows that script, asshole. Why don't you just answer the question if you can? You don't want to. Yeah, it's just a wrap-up after the polygraph. Haha, he is an idiot, JM221. Great observation from the members of my chat tonight. Much appreciated. What the fuck does he think this is, the Maury Povich show?
Helicopters, the classified technology, and all the searchers on the ground. I mean, searchers on bicycles. They did everything. On the pipeline, they took in ATVs and Argos and side-by-sides. They used everything they could.
Tell me about
everything.
What do you make at this point of the investigation of what RCMP have been doing?
Why are you touching yourself like that? Where's makeup? Does he need some makeup? We've got some sweat pouring out of his brow. He's finding these answers difficult to fabricate. Tried to remember he's got to maintain this bullshit. Guys, he's there for Jack and Lily. That's what it's all about. That's what the problem is, Wolfie. You're in chat listening. When you go around and don't associate any meaning with, at the end of the day, you're disregarding whatever's going on and saying it's really all only about Jack and Lily, reciting it as rhetoric. You're doing the same thing as Daniel's doing, in effort to disregard the details and the situation at hand. Just to let you know, bro.
Doing or not doing? What's your stance on all of that?
Well, I would like to go in for another whole round of polygraph exams. I mean, that would be, and maybe bring some new people in that are doing the polygraph exams. But I know they're hard at work. I've filled notebooks with just trying to help them find leads. Or
what does that have to do with them being hard at work? Welcome, Explore Core. Good to have you. I know they're hard at work. I've given them all kinds of leads, notebooks and notebooks. I know they're hard at work with all of the leads that I've given them, all of the manipulation. Looks like a man with a lot of cognitive load.
give them any.
It's real difficult to pull these answers. It's how do I remember that again? Oh yeah, what does I have to say? He's struggling. It's not natural. You can barely look at the woman. She's a cutie. You should be charming her, winking at her, locking eyes. You're just a fucking coward. You're not a man. Yeah, it's a hardcore line. Listen, you have an opportunity here to make an I connection with a cute chick from the CBC, and you're fucking it all up. You're single? What would all your Facebook bros say? What would all your Facebook dating comrades say if they knew that you were fucking avoiding eye contact with a cute CBC reporter? You should be garnering sympathy from her. That way she takes you out and you can get a date out of her. Mr. Single Man. Maybe she's interested in moving you in 2 weeks like Maleya was. Maybe you can schmooze her. Maybe you can tell her all about your grape fantasies through text. Maybe you can love bomb her like you did Taylor and the other girlfriend and Maleya. You like the chicks that you can control, though. I know your type. You like the ones that come with all kinds of emotional baggage, ones that have been smacked around a little bit and have all kinds of emotional problems, trauma. They are more apt to do what you say.
Any kind of small detail, answer as many questions as I can, or, but I'm doing everything I can. I usually try to meet with them 3 times a week, and sometimes they're not around for that, or phone calls or text.
Listen, in that last little statement that we've watched in this close-up, you make eye contact with this cutie patootie 10% of the time. The rest of the time, your eyes are all over the fucking place, going down to the ground. You're avoiding eye contact. You're fabricating. You're bullshitting. And you're wearing that shirt again, bro. Is that the shirt that you got arrested in? I think it is. Is that the arrest shirt? It's like Michael Jackson's glove. It's like OJ's white van. Is that the arrest shirt? Did they have to take that fucking chain off you before they booked you into jail? Did you call Janie right away? What's her number?
But whatever we can do.
So I guess to bring it back to the cadaver dogs, since you've been asking for it for so long, I guess, you don't have any information on how that will happen?
No, I don't even know where quite they're going to start searching, or what they're going to do. Are they going to expand out onto the properties? The property there is fairly small. It's only 2 acres. So.
Yeah. Will it be the whole 8.5 that they...
So, no. Listen. You're onto something, Helicopter Grandma, but I think that you're interpreting it in a biased manner, perhaps. You're observing the fact that how they're standing in this shot, it's perfect. They even have a park bench there. He would be on one end, she on the other. You're giving somebody some personal distance in a personal interview like this. It's done so on purpose to try to put him at ease as much as possible. But old Helicopter Hands starts throwing around Nova Scotia gang signs, tweaker gang signs, probably signs that only Kent Corbett and Darren Geddes recognize. Old Lobster Claw. Well, we're calling the OSPCA, or the Nova Scotia Humane Society, we should also take a call down to New Glasgow and their lobster festival, make sure that they put a "don't allow this guy back into this place" sign up. We're going to blacklist Kent with the Lobster Fest. There's no sense to you being down there watching all the playgrounds and everybody's kids, son. Your fun's over, boy. Nobody wants any of your fucking bracelets. Ain't nobody want any of your fucking pedo signs either, son. You're going to have to find a new playground to hang around. I recommend the prison yard.
Search
previously. I don't know. That's a lot. That would be quite a few. That'd be a couple weeks probably on foot doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at the documents, and some of the other stuff RCMP has said or done, there's 70,000 drone photos that were taken during the search. That's a.
So you see what he does there. what do you call that? Is that just a deflection? You're going to make a point, then you get off that point and jump automatically to the number of photos that you read in the paper that the RCMP quoted of having to go through or having accumulated. You bailed out of your initial statement. Oh, fuck. Whoa, wow. Whoa. So many photos. What the fuck does any of this have to do with the price of onions in China?
A lot of photos. I mean, they had to review and do everything. So they would have found some kind of something there. Or even when they brought in classified technology.
The CBC is creating an illusion as well. But they have a working relationship with the RCMP in that sense. So I'm sitting up here all angry at Amy for saying things a certain way. That's has to be on purpose. That's why you get paid the big bucks and have those numbers, honey. They're a Fed. They're no different than a Fed. They're a federal agent. So it's their job to disinform when they're directed to disinform in that sense. They got no other choice. She didn't write that script. If she did, she was directed to. There's no way that you see that happening, the Globe and Mail article happened at the CBC. But the point of all of it is an effort to help elicit more information from the obvious individuals who are keeping it, no matter what label you want to put on them. It doesn't matter. We're still facing the same situation with the worst of outcomes. Doesn't matter what it is that you label or classify something. What is this, the Dewey Decimal System for these assholes? I don't think so. We know what the frick it is we're looking at here. We don't need to be told. And that means Danny here has a lot of answering to do to society. We've got a major fucking problem with this dude running around being a serial rapist. Danny Bernardo. Doing all kinds of weird stuff on this Cristal, this Tina, the jib. Robin says, Daniel, that handcuffed helicopter hands, man, deal with it, boy. Helicopter Grandma says, see the hands? Why is he doing that? He's trying to emphasize whatever point it is that he's trying to make. If he had a point, he would be able to associate a certain arm gesture towards it. The fact that the guy doesn't have a point to begin with leaves his arms dangling out there like a couple of helicopters, and you can't line it up. He just looks like a goddamn Jim Henson character from The Muppet Show. Like Beaker. You look like Beaker from The Swedish Chef. You sound like him too. Trail Hiker says a little bet and the guards at will tell the other inmates what the newbie is in for if prison doesn't know yet. Oh, they'll all know Daniel by then. They watch this show in the kitchen when they're making food for the rest of the prison. We know it already. We can see it on our analytics. They're waiting for him. Wouldn't you be excited to make dinner for this fucking guy? Guess what? It's the tuna surprise tonight, Danny. Guess what the surprise is?
Scanned the whole area. They found a beaver and a coyote. That's all they found.
So why do you think this step is necessary?
No, they found is a beaver and a coyote. He laughs it off. Why so glum, chum? You're always looking down at something. What the hell are you looking at? I'll rewind that for just a second.
They wouldn't do everything, so they would have found some kind of something there. Or even when they brought in classified technology, they scanned the whole area. They found a beaver and a coyote.
Did you hear? That's leakage right there, as far as I'm concerned. The way that he said coyote, you just got as close to the fear that's in his head as possible. That was a coward's shuffle. Your voice quivered like you're scared. Like you're scared of me slapping you. Listen to it again. Put your noise-canceling headphones on and listen to the way that Daniel minimizes the words, but specifically the way that he pronounces the word coyote. It's not the word that's important. It's how he says the word, how he musters the muscles to emphasize and commit to what it is that he's saying, the purpose to the communication, the point to speaking. He doesn't have one. He's getting exhausted psychologically, and he's wearing down like the little bitch that he is, and he could barely muster the word coyote. Just fell through the finish line. We recognize it right here. Whoops.
Found some kind of something there. Or even when they brought in classified technology, they scanned the whole area. They ever found a beaver and a coyote. That's all I found.
Open to interpretation. It's difficult because he sounds like such a bitch.
So why do you think this step is necessary?
Well, it just rules out one and brings the book a little bit closer to being closed.
Don't you just sit back and wonder where they come up with these questions? This is no different than sitting in the fucking RCMP office having an interview with him, you idiot. He's really trying. We don't even have to FOIA it. We have these stupid interviews that you give. Like, first of all, you're more than willing to answer any question. And you want that to be some sort of, it's like, look at how transparent and open I am. But you lie non-fucking stop. In such obvious lies. They know that you're lying to them. Open-ended questions in this sense, and you're falling right into their trap, making yourself just look like it's everything. It's a wet dream of a statement analysis. It's a wet dream of all of these behavioral analysis that work in the RCMP's major crimes unit. He looks like a young Homer. And that freeze AB, Anita Bonita? Does he? Is it the color of his skin? He does have that shape.
I mean, one chapter at a time.
How have you been doing?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm doing well, but doing better than I was at the start, I guess.
Now, did they edit it like that, or did you just up that question right in the middle of it? You got to be wary of the people who want to tell you all of the information as to who and what they are. They want you to believe a certain thing rather than allow you to penetrate their guard, their walls that we all have built up. A real person doesn't make it that easy in that sense. And here he's just as a nature answering questions. He doesn't care what he's answering because he's going to lie anyway. It's like being in the Shark Tank. It's like the Royal Rumble of bullshit. Every 60 seconds, a new lie comes out. You've got to deal with it.
It's physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, emotionally exhausting, but...
Yeah, what exactly do you think that is? That's the weight that he's describing that's on him and the stress that he's putting himself through with this level of bullshit and lying, trying to get away with what it is that he's done, covering up what it is that he's done, excuse me. Just because you thought of 3 words that you blasted the gal from the CBC with doesn't mean that that's appropriate in that sense. You could have talked at great length. Belinda, she chooses her words and they're quite powerful because her words have connection and meaning, a human side to them that relates directly to why we're all here. Danny's doesn't. He's done such a piss poor job. There's no going back now, Dan. Good luck. Even the boys on Grindr won't even go for you because you're a sex offender, bro. Steph Warrior says, all his interviews will go down in history, no doubt, watching his decline from Super Dan to Duper Dan. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, shit. This case is going to be in everybody's minds for decades. I'll never forget it. Yeah, it's not over yet. It's just getting interesting in that sense.
Every day, you wake up and it's a new day. New
yeah,
hope.
We know. Yeah, we know. Just nothing really. We don't have to remember anything. Remember, it's how he copes. What he's doing is describing how he's coping with whatever it is that you're hiding under there. Wonder what that could be.
Just keep going forward.
Tell me about the toll, like what you were just mentioning earlier about social media.
Yeah, social media has been quite a circus, we'll call it. But I can't control them, and they're free to judge. But maybe just use a little bit of this before they start.
What was he pointing to? Was he pointing to Kent's bracelets? Use a little bit of this.
A circus, we'll call it. But I can't control them, and they're free to judge. But maybe just use a little bit.
Yeah, Kent's bracelets. He's saying he wants everybody to buy Kent's bracelets. What an asshole. What a scumbag. He's doing better now than in the beginning. How he thinks because of the length of time he's in the clear, he thinks he's fading to black. No, Daniel. They wear orange where you're going, son. Carol. That's a fabulous comment. This is Daniel. You know what's so valuable about this content at this point in time? Because it's Daniel pre-sex offender. Before everybody knew about the technicalities of it that put him on the registry in the first place, got him that SA charge. You think they're gonna give you the key to the fucking city? Hey, Kent, you really representing Pictou County well, friend. You mean you're there to protect Pictou County's sex offenders, aren't you, son? I'm going to kick you off that chair right into a prison cell. I don't think his complexion will suit Orange Robin says. Ordinary day was tweaking, bumping, and grinding and raging. Yeah, specifically grinding brains. We're using our brains, boy. What are you going to do? Forcibly confine me?
An AI for pictures.
I mean, we're coming up on, is it coming up to 5 months?
Yeah, in the second, so yeah, it's less than 2 weeks.
Like, did you ever imagine that we'd be here still talking about this?
No. I thought with the amount of resources and amount of different units for RCMP working on it, everything from dive teams to canine units and social, they've dedicated teams just for social media. They have a dedicated guy that just sits there and watches highway cameras. So.
What's it been like for you now that we're back to September, school's back, and seeing the school bus go by every day?
Yeah, no, it's hard. There's quite a few school buses that go by, and there's a lot of kids in the area I see, and it's sad. It's not just sad for Jack and Lily, but it's sad for everybody who knew Jack and Lily. They had friends, went to school, and it's just, they had teachers that
ratted you out to Children's Aid. Is that what you're meaning to say? Do you guys hear me in chat? Having some connectivity issues at 2.5 hours. Just a clapping seal, whom I now think that Tapout Shirt is sending a message? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. What message do you think? Let me know in the comments section. People are telling me they're experiencing some buffering. You hear me? Good. Good. That makes me feel better. There's just an interruption, so I'm not sure if it's permanent or what it is. It says it's excellent and healthy now. It's just momentarily. Everything seems normal.
Seeing them every day, and it's just hard on everybody.
I know we ask you this.
Yeah, of course you're going to mention the teachers, aren't you? A little pissed off at them by now. Katie inquiries you were buffering there a moment ago, but it's good now? Good, thank you. He knows when all the buses go by and know when to plant evidence and not get caught on the bus cameras. That's true, Anita Benita. Walt 1966, you think it might be a message to MBM? It might be overthinking things, but it's possible, of course. He's all about those messages. Speaks to the devil, of course, to Janie.
This every single time, but why do you keep doing it?
For Jack and Lily. I don't do this for myself because I'm going to see this online later and people are going to analyze it. Every time I move my hands.
And that right there is the example why. That's the source example, my friend Wolfie out there, wherever you are. When you supersede whatever the topic is or the conversation is about, and you minimize it and dismiss it and say it's about Jack and Lily no matter what, and use that, hit the button, it's for Jack and Lily, it's rhetoric, it becomes meaningless. It doesn't have any meaning anymore. Daniel doesn't associate it with any meaning. He uses it to avoid what it is that he was, or the topic or the question was about there. No different than the way it's being used as a rhetorical line. So it's easy, just drop it. Find something else to say. Explain what that means. That would be a great replacement. You don't need to do anything at this point for Jack and Lily in that sense, except what it is that God have granted you the rights to do and speak your mind and your opinion based off of what you observe. Walt says Kent got a good burn today on another live. It was amazing. Oh, it's interesting.
Mouth, every facial expression, they analyze everything right down to a T. I know that.
What would you like the public to know?
I want the public to know if anyone has any information, just please come forward. Call the RCMP, call your local police department, call Crime Stoppers.
Do you still think they're still alive?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, that's all we have is hope.
You mean yourself? That's all you have is hope. All you have is hope. All we have is hope. Friends, I'm going to wound it down at 2.5 hours. Friends, we've all been here. Maybe go and join the other fantastic creators that are presenting tonight on a Friday night. Helicoptergramma, Norbeaster, Explore Corps, Lindy, Sweet Tea, Robin. Thank you guys and everybody else for putting yourself through this up to this point. We're getting somewhere. We're just coming to digest what this really means. Life is going to be a lot different for Danny Boy being a sex offender. No more Facebook dating. You're going to have to change your profile status, boy. What a great thing. What a great thing. Esther, especially if they are behind. Guys, I'll let you go. I'll let you go, and we'll see you tomorrow. Keep your eye out for some uploads and some short highlight videos that come across every now and then. We'll be right back. Oh, my wires crossed. My wires are crossed. Hold on.